Whether we're talking about Jennifer Shannon or Tess Harper, Billie Blessings or Claire Darrow, it doesn't matter. One thing they all have in common, they all have iconic style. And today we are talking to the woman who created those looks, Jaralin Detienne. She shares great behind the scenes stories, what it takes to create these characters. Today's episode is fascinating. All right, let's go. This podcast was created by fans for fans and is not affiliated with or sponsored by Hallmark or the Hallmark channel. Okay, today is a very big day. We were just talking a little bit before we started recording, but I've got Jaralin Detienne. Did I do it right or did I mess it up?
Detienne. Very
Detienne.
close.
I messed
It's
it
a
up.
hard one.
But after all the practicing we were doing before, but been waiting for a year to talk to you. You've been super busy, so we're finally getting to do it. Super excited. Great to have you here. How are you doing tonight?
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy that we could make this work, and I'm so sorry it took so long.
No.
Just been making all the movies, so
It's all good.
yeah. Thank you for having me.
So we're going to get started. We're going to go back to your teenage years. I want to know what your style was when you were a teenager. Like, did you have it going back then?
I did. Or I'd like to think I did. I really got my fashion sense from my mom. I grew up with, well, I have four sisters, so there's five of us. I'm the oldest of five. And so it was clothes. It was always a thing in our house, and, sharing clothes and being annoyed that one sister was borrowing clothes. And I remember getting a job so that I could buy my own clothes so that I didn't have to share them. So, it started young.
Where was that job at? It wasn't at like Wet Seal or something like that, was it?
Oh yeah, it was like the Gap and Bootlegger.
Perfect.
Yeah. The Gap though, back then, it was like you had to wear what was like currently on the racks, and if it's sold out by chance in the day, you could no longer wear the thing if it was sold out. So it was a whole situation.
Did you have to actually buy the clothes?
Yeah. You got a good discount though. So
That's crazy.
So high school. So I'm born in Toronto, Ontario, and then moved to Nova Scotia. So junior high and high school, I was in Nova Scotia, and now currently I live in Vancouver, and I've been here for a long time. I won't tell you because then it'll give away my age. But so growing up in Nova Scotia, I very much considered that. I feel like, classic Cher, it was like a couple versions down from that, a lot of like short pleated skirts, and it's kind of like a lot of the things that are in fashion right now. So yeah, it was, I don't know.
Awesome.
I've always loved clothes.
As I say, going after it after Cher as like in your junior high or high school, that's pretty bold.
I mean, that is one of my favorite movies. It's iconic.
Are you going to be reading my question? Because my next question for you is, who are your top 3 style icons of all time?
Oh, style icons. Wow. I think that although I don't get to with the Hallmark brand, it's not that it's not on point for the brand, but sometimes it's a budget thing. There's a lot of like big designers that I love and I follow, and then I try to like glean inspiration off them. So, and then also depending on the character, right? So, I think Chanel for sure. I there's I can't really say there's like, I find that there's beauty and inspiration in everything. So I can't say that there's like 3 favorite icons that I have. It's just all the beauty that I pull and everything that I see, and I'm like, okay, how can I incorporate that? And when I look at like a lot of the runway stuff and also just regular life, I'm like, which character is that? And so I'm always playing the game of like, who's the character in my head? So I don't know if I actually have I don't know if I have a favorite because I have way too many. So sorry.
Yeah.
If you prepared me, I probably could have like really sat and thought about
No, have you
that.
done the like French runway type fashion show?
Have I personally gone
Like
and
been to one? Yeah.
sat? No,
No. Is
it's on the list.
that
It's
bucket
on the
list thing?
list for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Are you a
Yeah.
big fan of Emily in Paris?
Yeah, I had mixed feelings about Emily in Paris. I think that the clothing and everything, it's amazing. I personally wouldn't have put some of those pieces together. I felt like some of it was trying a little bit too hard. Because if you go to France, the women are just classically beautiful, and I felt like some of it was just a little bit over the top, even though I appreciate that a lot. I really do. So, like I said, I have mixed feelings about it, but yes, I am a fan.
Gotcha.
So,
As we all know, there was a strike last year,
mhm.
and we all focus on the actors and the writers. They got all the publicity, but the crew, like costume designers, this had a really big impact on you guys as well, didn't it?
It was really, really devastating for all of us. And, you looked at all the crew and people that didn't work for months. My team and I were really fortunate that we did do a few shows during the strike, so I'm very thankful for that. Um, but that was not the case for everybody, and a lot of the crew had to pick up jobs at other places. A lot of people are on unemployment. Um, yeah, it was really devastating for all of us. And then now coming back, friends of ours that are in union land and also in the non-union land, because a lot of these Hallmark movies are non-union. Um, they're really being impacted because now the actors are being paid more, and therefore salaries are being cut for all of the lower end people, or little things like if they were allotted like a car allowance or something like that, that's changing. So it makes it really difficult because the things that you've been used to and the tools you've had to do your job, you may or may not have them, or they might be different now with this, yeah, with the strike. So,
This is what's so interesting about talking to, you know, the non-actors who we talk to often, because you really do find out what it's like making a movie. As fans, we just focus on just what we see on
mm,
screen. And the more we talk to people like you find out just what the actual business is, all the not behind the scenes, not the behind the scenes with the silly antics, but just what it takes going into movies. So it's really fascinating. And I thank you for sharing with us.
yeah, and like I think everything that the actors union fought for, like I think it's good. And I support them, and I love them. So it's it's just unfortunate that everybody's not winning, right? That's what I'm saying. So,
Right.
and yeah, because there's so many people, it takes a village, right, to make one of these movies, to make any movie, and there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into this, and um, because we all really love what we do. Otherwise, we wouldn't be there for like 15 plus hours in a day, because that's what happens. Like it's 15 plus hours a day.
Wait,
So you have to love it.
you're on set that long?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not realize that. Wow.
I don't always have to be on set that long, but my girls are on set that long, and yeah. Yeah. And then that's not including driving time, and yeah. Usually set is anywhere from an hour, around, let's average about an hour to set, and then back home. So you're 2 hours a day of driving.
So you're not staying at the hotel right down the street from the
No,
thing usually. Interesting.
no,
Wow.
because that's a
Wow.
whole extra cost, right, for
Right.
production.
And as you just said, the pie remains the same, but the slices of the pie are now being divvied up a little bit different, and something's got to give.
Yeah, so
Um,
obviously if I'm brought in to do a show, I've done quite a few shows on Victoria Island, then that's a different situation because then production is putting me up there and my crew up there. Or there's been a few shows like that I've traveled for work, and then if that's the case, then yes, obviously, yeah. But otherwise, it's kind of like you're in Vancouver, you're expected just to show up wherever set is.
all right.
Unless it's out of the zone, which is a whole other conversation. And so, yeah,
That's for the next time we talk.
that's for the next one. Yeah.
Okay. So you are a costume designer. You obviously have a very keen sense of fashion. So now when you're going to like the friend from high school's wedding or going out to some party, do you feel an extra pressure that you just have to like just bring it and be the best, styled person there? Because
Dress.
otherwise they're going, what the hell are you doing getting paid for that?
uh, yes and no. I think 10 years ago, Jaralin would have said yes, and I really would have prepared an outfit or two, depending on how I felt on the day. And um, but this version of me would say no, I don't feel the pressure. I generally, like, every morning when I wake up, I'm like, how do I want to present to the world? And when I style private clients, that's what I always say to them. What makes you feel good? How do you feel good? Like, what clothes make you feel good in your body? And depending on your job, like for your job, like what makes you feel good? How do you want to present yourself? Because this is when people see you, unfortunately, like they're judging the book by their cover, by the cover, right? So I yeah, I just want to be like, this is the version of me that I am today, and this is how I want to show up. And some days I like to be really, really bougie and everything is on point. And then some days I'm like, this is beautiful and this makes me feel good. And um I don't have to be the best dressed person in the room, although sometimes it is nice. But no. So yeah.
Sure. Let's go through the process of when you get a script. That's how it basically works,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
you get, here's the two characters you have Bob and you have Sue. What's the
Yeah.
process you go through to take these people from paper and words to an actual three-dimensional look that we're all going to look at and love? Like we just had Betty, who was absolutely beyond belief fantastic, right? So
Oh,
how do you take it
yes.
from the words to reality?
Mm. Okay, that's a good question. Um, I receive a script, I read it, I break it down. I have this tool that we use called Sync on Set, which is my continuity tool. So I break down the entire script, I go through it, I'm like, um, where are, like, what are the script days? Do you understand what I mean when I say script days? It's like, where are the day breaks where it's like, this is the morning, this is night, and now it's the next day. So I go through all that. And then I sit there and go, where do they change clothes? Are they in pajamas? Are they doing something active? Are they on a date? Go through, break it all down, and see kind of how many changes. That's what we call it. We call it changes, how many changes each character has. And then from there, I start to create mood boards. I'm like, who is this character? What do they do? Where are they from? What does the evolution look like? And then I sit there and imagine. And I imagine, and then I start gleaming and pulling images from online, and I create these mood boards. And from that, my process, it usually takes me quite a few days. Like I put a bunch of photos in and create the characters, and then I come back and I'm like, that's not quite right. And then I think about it. Oftentimes, I don't know who these actors are. So when I'm creating these mood boards, I have no clue
Oh, because they haven't been cast.
because they haven't been cast yet,
Right, right.
right? So we're making these movies pretty quickly. Usually, I have anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks of prep, depending on the budget of the movie. Um, and then sometimes I might have what we call our number one and number two, which is our lead female and lead male. And if I have that, then great. Then I can kind of base because I'll know who they are and I can base their look around who they are. But sometimes I don't have that. So then I am creating this idea of what I think this person should look like. I don't know body type. And then what I do is I pitch it to the producer and the director. And I go through and I'm like, here's what I'm thinking for these characters. And they're like, love it. Or how about this? And I'm like, okay. And then I go back and I, go back to the drawing board. And then I also pitch it to the network. And then I'm like, here's what we're thinking. Do you love it? And then they'll say yes or no. And we have conversation. And then I get the cast. And then once the cast starts rolling in, and sometimes like I'm getting cast 2 weeks before, sometimes I'm getting it like 2 hours before we go to camera, or they have to be on screen. It just depends, which makes things very
I hate to
stressful.
interrupt.
Yeah, no, go
Two
ahead.
hours before, like they're
I've
getting
had
a
that.
call saying, "Hey, get in your car. We've got you on set
It's
in 10 minutes or
or
whatever."
something happened with the original cast that they had casted, and then it's like, we can't have this person anymore because whatever reason, maybe they're sick or something. So it's like we have to recast them, and they're coming in this afternoon. So then you're doing a fitting on the fly. Like, this is the thing that most people don't realize that happens behind the scenes. It's like all of these, like, okay, we have to make this happen. Where are my shoppers? Okay, this is, I'm calling them. I'm like, okay, I need this, this, and this, and this. And it needs to be in Langley, which is like the middle of nowhere here in Vancouver. It needs to be in Langley at 2 o'clock. And we're going to do a fitting. And I'm like, okay. And then they go and they shop if I can't do it myself. So it's, it's like I said, it takes a village, and these are the things that people don't know. And then you're like sweating, and you make it happen. And so, so I get cast, and then once I get cast, then I have to really revisit the boards because, maybe in your mind you envisioned a certain ethnicity for somebody, for a character, and then that's not the case anymore. Maybe it's a body type thing where you thought they would be very slender and they're not, or opposite. You thought like, and then you have to go, okay, what's the new vision and what does that look like? And then from that point, then myself and my shoppers, I'm like, okay, here's how many looks they have, here's what I need, here's where I want you to shop them, here's the things I want you to find. And myself and the girls, we go out and we shop, and then it comes to the fitting time, because you really don't know, like, unless you've worked with people before, you're hoping that the sizes they gave you and the way they describe their body, that it's going to be as they said, but you don't always know. And then I get in the fitting room, and then that's when I get to create. And sometimes, the actor is like, no, that's not the vision I had, or it's like, oh, I didn't think about that, and this is even better. And then you play. So I always say, it's the thing that I say, if I haven't worked with an actor before, I'm like, this is a collaborative experience. We're only going to put you in things that you love, that feel right for your character. So sometimes you don't love it, but you're like, oh, this is my character. So, and then at that point, we start playing, and then I take photos of everything, and then I upload the photos to a network approval site, and then the network says yes or no to the outfits. And then from there, so you see, this is a whole huge process. This is not just like I get to create whatever I want and pick the clothes that I like the best and put them on the actor wherever I want. It's a collaborative effort. And also because the network has a brand to uphold, and I respect that, and I love it because I love Hallmark. I am so thankful for all the work they've given me, and they have like a really beautiful aesthetic, so, which is fun and something I really appreciate. So, and then from that point, I get my approvals back from the network, and then I sit down with the script again, and I'm like, where does it make the most sense for them to be wearing whatever? And then I go through a whole process. And I've changed my process over the years because I've been doing this for a while now. And now when I sit down with the approvals from the network and I'm sorting through the photos of, I usually like, I'll know what the actor's favorite ones are, and I usually try to go with that if possible because I want them to be happy. I want them to feel good when they get on screen, like, oh, this jacket's amazing. Like, oh, I love this for her. Like, or I love this for me. Like, I want them to feel that way because if they feel good in their clothes, then they just get to do their job, right? Um, and that's just, and also it makes it easier for my girls that are on set because then they're not like futzing with everything and it's like, oh, this is uncomfortable. This doesn't quite fit right. Do I look bad in it? Do I look okay in it? Like they just know. Um, and yeah, then I go through my process where I envision. So you were talking about Betty. When I sat down with her wardrobe, I was like, okay, opening scene. What is she gonna be wearing? What is she gonna be wearing? What is this first vision of the audience, like that they're gonna see of her? And what is it? And obviously that changes for every character, depending on the show too. And so then I go through that and I place it. And then I also say, like, okay, what is she wearing? What is he going to be wearing? What are the like background actors going to be? The background actors is a wholly different situation, but it's like, what is everybody wearing so that nothing competes, everything complements each other, and that the audience is like, oh, that looks really beautiful, but they're not paying attention to just like the shirt or the pair of pants or whatever. It's kind of like a bride. If you have a bride walking down the aisle in all white and she has this ginormous bouquet of like colorful flowers, your eye is drawn directly to the colorful bouquet sometimes, right? And not necessarily to the bride when it should just be about the bride. So this is the fun game that I get to play all day. That's a long explanation, but there you go.
I I have two questions of follow-up on that. Number
Okay.
one, at this point, as we've said, you are, one of the main Hallmark costume designers. Don't they just pretty much go, oh, Jaralin's got it? Like, you really have to go through that much approval with a network at this stage? Don't they just trust you that
So you know
you
what?
know it?
I'm very, very fortunate that I have received a lot of trust from the network. So yes, absolutely. But to give you the general idea of what happens with most costume designers, that is the process.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so I've been able to develop a working relationship with the network, and like I said, I'm so thankful for that. I'm so thankful for their trust. Not to say that I haven't earned it, but this is the thing with building relationships in any job, right? People need to be like, oh, okay, great, she's got it or he's got it. So yes, yes, yes. But I still respect the process because at the end of the day, I don't if it was just me answering for everything, then that would be different. But somebody else also has to answer for my work. So I do respect the process and appreciate feedback. And so, sometimes there's things behind the scenes that maybe I'm not privileged to. So I want to respect that.
The next follow-up is you're talking about how you do the continuity to make sure this, that, and
Hmm.
the other.
Yeah.
Have you ever completely messed up where they
Yeah.
like, oops? And then if so, what was just one of them that stick out that you
Well,
remember?
I'm really fortunate that my team is amazing, and it doesn't happen very often. And we've been able to fix anything, but in the last movie we did, we had a mess up, and I got a call because I wasn't on set that day, and it was like, Jer, we're really sorry. We played the wrong outfit, and I was like, okay, can we fix it? It's just like, um, and so we figured it out. We made a new day break, and it was fine. But sometimes we've had it where like a pair of pants have split and I can't get a double of the pair of pants. And so then you're like, oh no, we did not calculate for him to split his pants in here. And now what are we going to do? Because how can we fix this? And so stuff like that happens all the time. And you just get to be creative and figure it out on the fly. Like, okay, so then you're talking to the director, like, so he can't turn around at all anymore. It's like, no, he can't.
I have this
Yeah.
vision of you with a stapler stapling the butt back together and the
Oh,
pants or something like
let
that.
me tell you, my onset Rachel, many a time she's been like, go in the room, take your pants off, go, take them off, and then she sits there and stitches it up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess you guys all know how to sew. Duh. All right. Now I
No,
would, on the other hand,
not everybody does, but yeah.
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Okay.
So
Because we got lots of things to tackle here. We haven't even started talking about all the mysteries.
I know we have to get the you well, you're fascinating. You're telling good stories. I appreciate it.
That's
We
fine.
talked about how
We
you're
can
like
do this again, and it won't
you're
take
a
us a year.
prolific costumer for Hallmark. What has been your absolute favorite movie that you've worked on? Can be mystery, can be rom-com, can be just whatever. What's your favorite movie?
Well, I think the two series that are my absolute favorite, and I say that, but they're all my favorites. There's really nothing that I've worked on. I've done, I think, 52 or 53 for the network now. So it's a lot. But definitely Garage Sale Mysteries and also the Wedding Veils. I did that series as well, and I loved it. It was so much fun to have like three leads that I got to dress, and um, the network and we spent a lot of time really going over and trying to figure out exactly how we wanted to create those characters. Garage Sale, I came in after they'd already done a couple, and then I kind of I switched it up a little bit, um, but with the Wedding Veils, I got to sit there with the network and create what these characters and the ladies, obviously, what these characters are going to look like. So that was like really, really fun for me. Yeah.
Ellie, when she was Greece, where they went to, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I got to go
Phenomenal.
to the
Oh,
Greece
Ellie in
with
that one
them.
was just absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. Well, they're all fantastic. And heck, well, we're how we're supposed to do our mysteries, but Lacey in the first one of that black and white dress.
Oh,
Oh man.
yeah.
Oh man,
That
that was
dress
good.
was not cheap.
All right. Well, she's got a little bit of star power to her, right?
Oh,
So,
well, they all do, all three
right.
ladies. And that's the thing. It's like, how do you make them all beautiful and important and have their own individual style? And so that's why it was so fun because, as we're going to talk about MSM and GSM and Crossword and Darrow and Darrow, a lot of these mysteries, there was like a show already done or two, and then I came in,
Right.
which I'm really grateful. And it's always fun to come in and then kind of progress the characters a little bit. But when you get to actually work it from the ground up and then continue, the closets that I have for those girls they're amazing. Like all the fun pieces and yeah.
Uh, well, we've talked about how absolutely fantastic these clothes are for the women. And then we talked about ripping the button guy's pants. My question is, who do you like? Like, who's it more fun working with, the women or the men? But the men are running around just like busting their drawers all the time. It's got to be the women, huh?
Yeah, definitely the women. They're more fun. You get to bedazzle them more. And yeah, for sure the women.
Okay.
But I like everybody I work with is just beautiful and magical. Like there's really nobody that my crew and I work with that we're like, mm, let's not do that again. Like everyone is just amazing. So we feel really fortunate showing up to work every day.
Do you approach a mystery different than you approach a rom-com when it comes
Hmm.
to developing? So how's that?
Yeah, for sure. Because you're with a lot of the mysteries, I'm thinking about like, is there like a scuffle that has to happen? Is there going to be a stunt double? Do I have to put blood on something? Am I going to have doubles or triples or quadruples of a shirt because someone's getting stabbed or like shot at? What does that look like? And so sometimes it's about availability of clothes, and also like, are they going to be running? Can she be in heels? How much is she running? Can she be in heels? Does she have to be in a sneaker? Where are they running? Is it on the grass, or is it in a parking lot? Or so definitely with a mystery, you're thinking through all those things. A rom-com, it's like, yeah, you are wearing those heels. They look fabulous with that outfit. Figure it out, okay? And we have that little conversation. It's like, right? Okay, 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 great. Okay, you can do it, right? Okay. But with a mystery, you're like, all right, what shoe am I going to put with that business suit? Because she has to be in a business suit when she gets hit or hijacked back of the car, blah, 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 blah. And so you're going through all this kind of stuff. Yeah. So it's different. And I'm saying she, but it's also he too. Whereas it's
That's
usually a
just
shoe
jeans and a leather
thing.
jacket.
That's right. It's usually a shoe thing for the ladies. And is she in a blouse? Is that blouse going to pop open? Can we sew that blouse shut? Yeah.
As you mentioned, you worked with some of the classic mystery characters. You got Billie Blessing in Morning Show. You've got Jen Shannon in Garage Sale, Tess Harper, Crossword, and Claire Darrow and
Mm-hmm.
Darrow and Darrow. Of those four, well, I think you already answered it. I was going to say which was your favorite, but it's the Jen
Well,
Shannon in Garage Sale, huh?
GSM, I did 10 episodes for that. Uh, Morning Show, I only did one,
The
and
last one, I believe.
I
Right?
loved working with them. That was amazing. Holly is phenomenal, and the rest of the crew as well. Um, Darrow and Darrow, I did two, and oh, I love Kimberly. I love Wendy. Oh my gosh, Tom, and oh, everybody's just amazing. And then Crossword with Lacey, because that I think that one year I did a lot with Lacey. So Crossword was just like, okay, now we get to dress you in leather. This is amazing.
You're
so,
stealing all my questions here.
so I'm like, okay, how do we make you the foxy version of yourself, because we've had you in all these cute little dresses. So, this is like the fun thing that I get to do. And I'm like, um, I worked with Allison Sweeney on Love and Jane. It was the same thing. All of a sudden, like, I needed to make her like this kind of bookwormy, kind of like we created a character. Like, this is, and it was like, okay, how do I not make you a strong, powerful New York woman? And I kind of gotta make you like not cool, but make you kind of cool still. And how do we do that? So, but GSM, I think it holds a special place just because we did so many shows together. And when you have your reoccurring cast, you're like calling them, you're like, hey, are you coming in? Okay, yeah, come in for the fitting. Do you want to change anything up? Okay, no. Okay, great. Yeah, I'll just find beautiful things. Okay. Yeah, okay. See ya. So you get into this routine with them where it's just it's it's home, right? And so when you're yeah, so that's that's why that one's probably more special,
Makes
even though all
sense.
of them are special. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned it. You took Tess Harper over. She had done the first three, and then you
Mm-hmm.
took her over. And I was going to ask, like, how you established her style, because, and I have in my notes, leather. She started
Mm-hmm.
out in leather and then kind of migrated a little bit away in the middle one. And then boom, you brought it back, that leather skirt with the purple animal print sweater
Mm-hmm.
that you had.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So, like, how did you, knowing like this character, like, and as you said, all the characters were developed at one point, but how did you just decide, I'm taking Hess and, as you said, turning her into sexy, cool crossword editor?
Well, it's in this situation, and with all of the number ones, which that's what we call them, Lacey's like the lead or leading lady. It was really a huge conversation with Lacey and I. Like, here's some thoughts. What do you think of this? I texted her back and forth with some pictures and images, and she's like, okay, do you think we can do this? And I'm like, yeah. And because I have a working relationship with her, because I know her body, I know what's going to look good on her. Lacey is like, do you think I can pull that off? And I'm like, yes, you can pull that off. And it's going to look so amazing. And we're going to just accentuate all your beautiful curves. And that's what we're going to do. So, as soon as she was on board with it, then I went to the network and I was like, okay, Lacey and I chatted. What do you think about this? Do we have your support? And they were like, yes, absolutely. So it's really with the relationship that I have with the actor, and also trust, right? Because she trusts me. She knows that I'm not going to put her in something that doesn't make her look great on camera. The big thing is there's so many things that look great in real life, but then once you switch it to camera, it just doesn't translate. Like, it looks frumpy maybe, or just doesn't accentuate like a person's best like body features. So you really have to be like thinking about that all the time. So yeah, I'm fortunate that all of my leading men and ladies, because I've done so much work with a lot of them, that they've trusted me, and so it makes my job easier too.
You had Lacey just right before Crossword. Well, I don't know with the
Mhm.
production, but with Christmas Waltz. So was that like, all right, I know you, we're really good here. We're just going, but I can't make you her because obviously those two characters are so different, but it's still
Hmm.
Lacey.
Yeah. Christmas Waltz, we were coming off of COVID, and Christmas Waltz was insane because there was this whole, well, it was all the waltz stuff. So it was all the dance and trying to like get, all of these like waltz suits and dresses and everything else. None of the dance academies were open. And none of the shops that created and made these special waltz um, dresses and suiting were open. So it was a really, really interesting show. I ended up creating, like, especially the dress that she wears at the end, in the end sequence, was actually a wedding dress. And we cut all the things out, and like, we reshaped it, and it was a whole thing. But yeah, oh my gosh, there's a sequence, I don't know if you remember it, where it's like a dream sequence, but there's like
Mhm.
this beautiful red dress that was in the one sequence, and that was something that I purchased from Toronto sight unseen, and I just hoped it would work, and I hoped it would fit the dancer, and it arrived, and it did, and I was like, and it was stunning, and it was just one of those things where I was like, I need a miracle, and I need it now, and I ordered off some random dancer, and I was like, if this works, this is going to be great. So a lot of that movie was like that. It was because it, like I said, it was like just after COVID, things were shut down. A lot of the suits, I personally called dancers in the city, and I was like, "Do you have a suit in a size 40 jacket and this and that?" And then, they would let me tailor it if I needed to, and then I let it all back out. And so that was like a work of love, that movie.
Well, it sounds like a crazy
Love
time.
and faith. Yeah.
Now I know you said because by Hallmark or the scripting things, Lacey's number one for Crossword, but Barbara Niven in the world is
Oh,
number one,
I
right?
know. Well, this is the
So
thing.
how
This
is it
is
for
the
her?
thing. They place numbers on characters based
Right.
on line count. So when you say Lacey's number one, it's
No,
based
I
on
know
line
exactly.
count.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I know.
So
But
just but
Barbara
just
Niven
so
is
our
Barbara
I
Niven. I
know
mean,
you
she's a
know this, but just
goddess.
so, oh, Barbara. I freaking love Barbara so much. And yes, she is a goddess, like in all, like exactly how you hope she's going to be in real life. She's even better. She is sweet and kind, and she just will sit down with you and have like tell me how you're doing. Like that is Barbara. And like, she's really meaning it, and she's there and she's present with you and she's focused. And Barbara has sent me like beautiful books and inspirational, like all the things. Yeah, she's just magic, and really fun to dress as well. So I loved dressing her. I loved, yeah, I haven't actually worked with her in the last little bit, and I've missed working with her, but yeah, she's a gem. She's a gem. And it was really fun because I got to put her in some bolder prints, and she trusted me with that. And we really spiced her up as well. And just to kind of showcase actually who Barbara is. Like, yeah, so that was fun.
When you say you spiced her up, are you talking about from like the first three of the crossword, or just Barbara in general? You took her
No, from
all up.
I think from the
Okay.
the first ones that I didn't do. Yeah. Gave
Uh,
her like just this like classy, added more pattern, sleek. Yeah. Just to kind
oh,
of really showcase the woman that she is
she's
naturally.
she's stunning. It's a stunning look.
She's, yeah, she's stunning. She's classy. Oh, she's like old world fashion. Like, yeah. I just
So
want to dress her in pencil skirts all the time because she's just like, and peep toed shoes. Like, like, yeah.
you said Shannon was your favorite of your mysteries. So she's got like the cool suburban mom look going.
Hmm.
And as you said, you worked with her for several episodes as well as you took her over. So tell me, like, what did you, as you went over this period of time, what were you keeping consistent, and what aspects of her were you evolving?
Well, she had like this like blazer look. So I really tried to keep the blazer look, and then I just added in more silk blouses or silk tank tops, just like a few softer fabrics. Or if we did sweaters, it was like cashmere and a lot more pattern and color. And and so we got to play that way as well, especially with like the coats and scarves, like just really put in some beautiful colors and fabrics. And then Danny, Sarah Strange, that was really fun too, because I really wanted to move her from this, like, she wore a lot of dresses and a lot of jewelry, and I really wanted to give her more of like a pinup vibe. And so as we were getting closer to the last ones we did, I was able to do that, like more pencil skirts, a little bit more structured, just so you could really see like her beautiful curves. And then at that point she'd cut her hair short. So there was just so many, yeah, it was just so fun. And especially with the kids too, as they started to grow up. Okay,
Right.
how are we gonna see them look? Steve Basic is just Steve, he's good looking, and it's like, great, we'll put you in a beautiful shirt. And he's like, sure, I love this. I love this. I'm taking this home. Like, yeah, I know you're gonna take that home. So yeah, I don't know, you just you get to play. It's so fun. Like, what elements of the antique shop are we going to put on each of the ladies? Are we going to do antique brooches? Are we going to do antique necklaces? Like, that was just a lot of fun as well. So,
I I don't know it obviously like you do, but Lori Laughlin seems like somebody who, and I'm not trying to demean you, but she seems like someone who would be very easy to dress and just look
mhm.
like her body just seems like you can't go wrong kind of thing.
No, you can't. Everything she put on was amazing. And she's, yeah, like you said, she has a beautiful body. Beautiful. And just, there was a lot of things that I did tailor, but again, that's just for movie because it just looked better. And but yeah, no, easy to dress. Like, I just, there's some actors I work with and I'm like, I have to tailor everything in order to make it look good. And Lori, No, Lori. She's just outstanding.
Just head over to
Yeah.
Target and grab something off the rack, and she looks fantastic.
She looks fantastic in anything. Yeah. For sure.
You said that Holly Robinson Pete was just absolutely fantastic. You did her last
Mhm.
of the morning show mysteries. So there she was pretty darn established, right? I want to say, I think there was 6 of them, maybe
Yeah.
7, whichever. And then you did the
Yeah.
last one. So how did you approach that one? Obviously, I don't believe it's canceled, but like, were you much more conservative in saying I'm going to stick with it, like who she already is a little more, or did you say I'm putting the Jaralin stamp on her, forget it? Or,
Well, no, I'm never going to say forget it, but I do always try to put my stamp on things. But also, I consult with the actor first, like we talked about before. So it was like, what do you love? What would you like to change? And how would you like to change it? And and then, for some of them, I like, so sometimes we have closets. So if this has been a long running show, there's sometimes a closet. And so you can kind of go through and you can pull different pieces that have been used in past shows. So maybe it's like a pair of jeans, things like that save me on budget. But with Holly, I was like, are you cool with me just kind of polishing things up a little bit? And she's like, absolutely. And so that's really what I did. I mean, Holly's gorgeous and she has a beautiful figure as well. So she was really, and her skin tone is just magical to put color on. So, um, yeah, so I just polished it a little bit.
well, we talked
I,
about um uh Lacey's dress in that first wedding veil, the
mm-hmm,
black dress there. Holly had her own black dress in this
mm-hmm,
one that was banging. That was
mm-hmm.
a damn good dress too.
Thank you. I always try to find the one good dress, and usually I get on the Instagram
Well,
on my
mysteries don't usually have that signature dress like that, though. Or
well,
she did.
my mysteries that I get to do too. Because I just want everyone to feel like I want them to feel special. Yeah.
All right. Well, now we're going to have to go in a little bit different direction with Claire
Okay.
Darrow, because she was this lawyer. She was like kind of the mom. I don't want to say like, it'll sound bad, but she was not pushing the style buttons like, once again, like a Jen Shannon or Billie Blessing. She was
Yeah.
more corporate-y and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, how did you approach her knowing like, I got to go with the pantsuit
Hmm.
for her and still make it look all good?
Yeah. And I mean, um, Kimberly is not like in real life is not like a super flashy woman. She is clean cut and classic and beautiful. And so with her character, I was like, okay, if you buy someone a beautiful suit and if it's tailored, it doesn't have to cost a lot of money, but if you tailor anything, and this is what I always say to my like clients that I style personally, I'm like, if you tailor something, it's going to look like it's $1 million. So with her, it was all about tailoring. It was about tailoring sweaters, tailoring suits, tailoring blouses. Um, because like you said, she's not a bougie character. She's a
Right.
mom. She's a working mom, and so I wanted to keep in that. And Wendy, I got to play with a little bit more
Yes, you
and put
did.
her in some beautiful dresses. And oh, I love Wendy.
Is she like
She's
7 foot too? I
she's
mean,
not 7 foot, but she is tall, and she's got these long legs, and
right.
yeah, she's hilarious. Like she's so funny. Yeah. So yeah, so everything with Kimberly was about tailoring, really.
Well, that was what I was going to say with the follow-up is then you juxtaposed it with Wendy's character, who was
Hmm.
totally stylish and wore those dresses that were just absolutely fantastic. So it's just a
Hmm.
really interesting usually you'd think the mom would be sort of the more conservative one versus in there, the mom was the one who was just oodles of style.
Right. And it made sense for the story. So this is the
Right.
thing, right? You have to go with what makes sense with the story. So yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we went through and we ran down all the mysteries which we want to do, and we don't want
Yeah.
to, go until tomorrow with the whole interview. So I'll just wrap it up with, so what do you, I know you have stuff going on that we can't talk about, but what do you have going on that we can talk about? You said Love and Jane's coming up, obviously. I think that's in 2 weeks from when we aired. So you had Benjamin as well.
Yeah. He's amazing and great.
We
That
just
was
had him on, and he said he likes to wear his jeans um home. That was his big thing about his when he was talking
he's
about
not the
wardrobe.
he's not the first actor that does that. He won't be the last. Yeah. Oh, he's great fun as well, and really fun to dress too, because like it's off the rack for him. He just looks great in anything. So I'm trying to think of what I can share that's coming up that you don't know about.
And if you just
Um,
had to reveal something, you could, but no.
I well, I yeah, there's some things in the works. So we'll say that. And
So you have a busy spring.
I have a busy spring. Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
Some fun surprises for everyone in the mystery category. So yes, look forward to it.
I I'm going to do one last question that was not in my thing. As you said, you've been 50 some movies, so you've worked with
Hmm.
most of the Hallmark people probably. Is there
Yes.
one person out there in that Hallmark universe that you haven't worked with that you would just love to
Mm.
say,
Oh,
I haven't got to work with that one yet,
oh,
or you pretty much covered the whole bases?
that's a good question. Um, I'm trying to think who I haven't worked with yet. I mean, I haven't worked with Taylor yet, which could be kind of fun.
Cole?
Yeah,
Oh,
I haven't
yes.
worked with her. And there's been like a lot of times where it looked like I might work with her, but I haven't. And some of my other girls, my onset girls have jumped and helped other designers while I've been in prep. So I think that could be fun. But yeah,
That's a
yeah.
great one. That's a great
Hmm.
one. Okay.
So there you go. Maybe I'm manifesting it here with you today.
All right. We'll think good thoughts for that. So,
Okay.
well, thank you very much. This has been a lot of fun. You really gave some great insight. I think that
Mm,
a lot of us, just general fans, don't know about what goes into making of a movie. So, really appreciate that. And I just want to say good luck and all those things coming up. I can't wait for
thank
you to be
you.
able to actually talk about them.
Thank you for having me. And I'm sorry it took us so long to do this, but we will do it again soon.
It was worth it. Have a
Yes,
good night.
thank you. Thank you, you too.